Coming on to the next topic in art and culture, you have the religions in India, the major religions in India. So, if we go on to the list here, some of the major religions are mentioned here. So, we start with Hinduism, which is the most popular religion with around 79% of the population in India following Hinduism as one of the religions, followed by Islam, which is 14%, Christianity, which is around 2%, and then you have the other minority religions that are there. So, when we focus onto religion, the words of Swami Vivekananda are indeed important, and it was during the World Parliament of Religion of in Chicago that the words of Swami Vivekananda inspired the world. Religion is indeed a very powerful element to bind the communal ties or to break the communal ties. So we will start with understanding some of the major religions. The first important religion that we would be understanding today is Hinduism. Now there are three important symbols associated to it. The first is Om, which is a symbol of or a representation of Brahma. Then you have swastik, which is a symbol of good luck, followed by lotus, which is the birth of the universe. Now, what are the three important aspects that have been considered under Hindu religion or Hinduism is the karma, earth and dharma. So that is the basis for the religion. And then we have the four stages of life, which is brahmacharya, which is a student life, followed by grihast life, which is a householder, followed by vanaprastha, which is a hermit, and finally to a sannyasi, which is an ascetic. Now, following the Indian traditions, we have Vaishnavites, which has been a very strong movement both in the North India and the South India. In South India, you have Nayanars, which had a very significant hold along with the Alvars. Also, we had numerous social reforms that were associated with religions. So numerous social reforms, some of the important ones were Brahma Samaj, you have Arya Samaj. So those were the institutions or the movements that tried to root out the evils of the society. Now, these evils were in the form of dowry, sati pratha, literacy, and untouchability, and so on and so forth. So, Brahma Samaj was established by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Abolishing the practice of sati, bringing education to mass was some of the major aspects that were covered under Brahma Samaj. And later on, you have Keshav Chandra Sen, who also worked against the practices of child marriage. You have two important divisions that were there in the Brahma Samaj later on, which was the Adi Brahma Samaj and the Sadharan Brahma Samaj that was established. Then you had the Ramakrishna Mission. Ramakrishna Mission was the idea where we believed that God is one of the supreme powers, and the concept of Neo-Hinduism came in. Swami Vivekananda was one of the persons who spread this idea across the globe, and as a part of Ramakrishna Mission, the idea was to bring in more spirituality, to propagate that spirituality across the globe, to bring in coexistence of all religions across the world, and that was one of the paramount ideas at the Chicago World Conference. The next was to serve the mankind is similar to serving the God. The next important Samaj was Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj was established by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Brahma Samaj by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Both of them played a very major role in bringing social upliftment and social awakening. Arya Samaj believed in supremacy of Vedas. They believed in good communication and purification as one of the major movements in the society. So also they were working to convert non-Hindus into the religion. So that was the main idea of Arya Samaj. The next important religion that we would understand is the Jain religion or Jainism. Now the word Jain is derived from Jin. Jin means conqueror. Now conqueror of self, of one's mind is the idea. Lord Mahavir was the founder of Jainism. He was the last Tirthankar. So 24 Tirthankars, and then you have the first Tirthankar who was Adinath, followed by the the last Tirthankar, who was Mahavir. Now the idea was to bring in a peaceful coexistence. Lord Mahavir was initially named as Vardhaman. He was born in a king family and later on left all the worldly affairs in order to search for the truth, and finally he gave the threefold path, which is the right conduct, right knowledge and right path, right belief. Okay, so that was known as the Triratna philosophy. Then you have the 5 principles under Jainism, which is ahimsa, non-violence, satya, truth, asteya, not to steal, aparigraha, not to accumulate things with you, and finally brahmacharya. So those were the 5 basis of, or the 5 principles of Jainism. Then you had 8 auspicious symbol. One of the major symbols is swastik, which is considered as auspicious, similar to what has been in the Hinduism or the Hindu religion. You also have darpan, which is very, very important, which shows a reflection of your inner self. So those 8 auspicious symbols which are mentioned here are again important. Now Jainism has been divided into 2 different segments later in the history, which was the Digambar and the Shwetambar. Shwetambar are the white clad people and Digambars were the sky clad. Malla was believed to be a princess as per Shwetambars. However, as per Digambars, Malla was considered as a male. Next important difference is, for Digambars, all the statues have closed eyes. However, with Shwetambars, you have the statues which have open eyes. So that's some of the major differences between the 2 segments. Now, as in the Jainism, you had 2 segments, which was Digambar and Shwetambar. Similarly, in Buddhism, you had Heenyan and Mahayan. Mahayan believed in the supremacy of Buddha as God. However, Heenyan believed Buddha as a preacher. So again, there were differences which evolved later on, and in the case of Jainism, you had Magadha dynasty, mainly the Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, who followed Jainism. In Buddhism, you had mainly Ashoka, who was converted into Buddhism. So that is how we understand how the things evolved over time. Now here are some of the major symbols that are used or that are worshipped, we could say, in Buddhism. Umbrella, then you have 2 goldfishes, are some of the major symbols that are considered auspicious. Buddha was also known as Tathagat or Sakyamuni, and he was again born in a kingdom and left all the worldly pleasures in order to search for the real truth of life. And there were 4 noble truths that he gave. The first was, there is existence of suffering. No one in the world is without a suffering. So that was the first truth that Lord Buddha gave. The second truth that Buddha gave was, there is a desire or the cause for suffering. So every suffering has a cause. Then this suffering must end or cease to exist. That is the third important truth that he said. And the fourth important truth that he established was the annihilation or the end of the suffering from the world. To attain this noble truth of ending the sufferings from the world, he gave a 8-fold path, which was also known as the Ashtang path or the Ashtang path. There were the 8 important criteria, which were the right view, right speech, right resolution, right effort, right livelihood, and right conduct, which was very, very important. Buddhist literature has been written in 3 important Pitikas. Those were the Vinay Patik, the Sutpatik and the Abhidhanam Patik, and these 3 Pitikas have been written in Pali language. The Pali and Prakrit were the 2 major languages during that time, and these were the preachings that were given as the part of the Buddhist council. So various Buddhist council took place, and as a result of the preachings of those councils, you had the compilations that were done. We already discussed the difference between the Heenyan and the Mahayan. It is very, very important that Heenyan followed Bodhisattva. However, the Mahayan followed the Theravada doctrine. So that is again one of the major difference between the Hinayan and the Mahayana. The Mahayana followed the Theravada. The next is Islam. Now, Islam is again one of the major religions of the world. It originated in the Arabian Peninsula. The word Islam means submission to God. So more or less, whenever all of the religions are trying to speak, there has been a uniformity or a consistency across all religions trying to preach the society for good and remove the evils from the society. Later on, however, religions came up with modifications, and there were diversions of the main concept that took place over the years. Now there are the various laws of Islam that have been given. The holy book is the Quran. Abraham is considered as one of the common ancestors for both Christians as well as Muslims. So again, very, very important. They believed in one God, which is Allah, and there are 5 important duties that a person must do in Islam. That is, first is Tawheed, which is believe in Allah, the only God. The next is Namaz, which is at least 5 times prayer during a day. The next is Roza, which is fasting from sunrise to sunset during the month of Ramzan. The next important is Hajj, which is a pilgrimage which is done once in a lifetime, at least once in a lifetime. And finally, Zakat, which is charity. Of all your earnings, you have to spare something for the poor and the needy. So those are the 5 important duties that have been recommended as a part of Islam. Again, later on, Islam got fragmented into Shias and Sunnis. There were some of the major movements that came up. The Ahmadiyya movement, which was started in the Punjab region, has been important. The idea was to uphold the Islamic values. Similarly, you have Farazi movement, which was focusing on the duties that the Muslims have to perform. Aligarh movement, which focused on the education of Muslims. The next important religion is Christianity. Now, Christianity is one of the largest religions of the world, not the largest in India, but yes, of course, one of the largest religions in the world, founded by Jesus Christ. And as we said, Abraham was a common ancestor for Christianity and Islam religion. Holy Spirit, Holy Trinity is the basis. Bible is the sacred text that is there. From Old Testament to New Testament, from Catholics to Protestants, have been a kind of change that has been seen within Christianity. So as we have seen across religions, be it Jainism where you had the Digambars and the Shwetambars, be it Buddhism where you had the Hinayan and the Mahayana, be it Islam with Shias or the Sunnis, or be it Christianity with Catholics or Protestants, or further classifications or further smaller subdivisions that they were divided into. Later on, each of the religions had further subdivisions that were witnessed. Sikhism is next important religion. You have a double-edged sword, that is one of the symbols of Sikhism that is being considered, and here you have one of the major symbols that is there. This symbol was given by Guru Hargobind. Now, the history of Sikhism, the main important is Guru Nanak's teaching, and that has been compiled as Guru Granth Sahib. So the Vani of his the Vani or his teachings are the ones that are being combined. The most important concept is the community kitchen or the langar, which is meant for food for everyone. And then you have recognizing the right way of the work. You also have the representation of Bhakti and Shakti, which is part of the symbol itself, where you have the swords and a kind of prayer figure that is shown. So Bhakti and Shakti is the idea that has been propounded here. Now we also have the establishment later on for the Akal Takht and the Lohagarh fort that was there. There were various preachers or the authorities that were there under Sikhism. So various 10 gurus that were there, and the concept of 5K. Now these 5K are important. You have the Kachera, Kesh, Kanga, Kripan, and then you have the Kada. So those 5 depict the religion per se. Then you have Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is one of the major religions which started with the movement of the people from the region of Iran, and Azur Mazda was believed to be one of the external gods that were depicted. Now, Udvada in Gujarat is one of the major centers where you had the Parsi community that had the highest establishment. The place where they worship is known as Fire Temple. It is again important. There are 5 parts of their worship that is there. Now, to worship with ceremony or offering is Yashna. Then you have Vivida, which is the laws against the demons. You have Yakshit, which is to worship. You have the Khordiya Avastha, which is the book for the daily prayers. And finally, the Gatha, which is further divided into 5 different parts. The sacred text is the Zen Avesta. Then you also have a very important concept where the dead bodies are left and open to be fed by vultures. This is known as Dakham and Dakham Nashini when it is being consumed by the vultures. The next important concept under Zoroastrianism is the 3 subdivisions that later on took place. Those were the Shahanshahi, Kadmi and Fasli. Now, Fasli was the traditional Persian calendar that was established. Kadmi was one of the most during this period, the most accurate calendars were established, and Shahanshahi was a sect where you had the calculation of the calendar based on the Yesargard 3 concepts that were laid on. Then you have Judaism. Judaism is another important religion which was for the Jews. Now, Jews was a community that was highly tortured by Nazis in Germany. There had been a constant revolt. The land of Palestine is still a region of conflict between the various 3 religions that coexist there. The religious book is known as Torah, and the Jewish history is known as Talmud. You have the places of worship which is known as synagogues, which is again important, and you have the religious services that are granted there. It is believed that God sent Moses to the earth and gave him the 10 commandments. There were 12 children which represent the 12 ancient tribes during that time, and these were known as Bnei Israel, or the children of Israel. You have 3 main sects under Jews, which is the Orthodox, Conservatives and Reformists. Orthodox were those which were highly rigid to the practices that were there. Reformists were those who were very flexible, and conservative were those who followed the middle path between the two, that's the Orthodox and the Reformist. And then you had 5 major communities of Jews in India, which are mainly separated as in the regions of Kerala as the Malayalam speaking Cochinese. Then you had in the region of Maharashtra as Marathi speaking Bnei Israels. Closer to Baghdad area, you had the Baghdadi Jews, and then you have the region of Manipur where you have the Bene Menshahini, and finally you have Bene Ephraimi. So those are the 5 different subcategories of Jews in India that are being witnessed. So those were some of the major religions across India that we have discussed in a quick summary. If you want to go for the details of these religions, we have covered separate lectures on Jainism, Buddhism and other religions in separate lectures. So just go into details and dive in for more information there. Have a wonderful day ahead.